Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Awino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I normally say that you can't defend a thief. And besides defending a thief, you can't try to defend something that you don't know its origin. Like, let's say, for instance, you found out that maybe your plotmate or maybe your brother has been fighting the wife. You can't get into a war or a battle that you didn't know how it started. I'm saying this because you see all these yeses. That is why I said that all these yeses are clueless. They are dumb. They don't know anything to do with their positions. Where they were what they were given to do, their duties. They don't know what they're supposed to do. Yani, I don't know. I don't understand. I'm saying this because last week on Wednesday, CS Muga, that is the CS of water and sanitation and irrigation, was in the Senate committee. And the way this guy was answering questions was giving excuses that the reasons why he has not done a lot of projects in the country is because of the war in Ukraine. So I was asking, so what is the connection between war in Ukraine and projects and development in Kenya? What is the relationship? Now today, CS of Defense Force, that is Honorable Sifuna, some people chakula cha wakubwa. I don't know why they refer to her like that. I don't want to get into that box because that is not my line of duty. I don't want to get engaged into that. But people say that she is someone's concubine. I don't know the person. But anyway, so Work.Tuya'S today has been in Senate, and the way this lady is answering questions, I failed to understand what was William Ruto saying, by the way, before giving these people positions. Like, what were these? What was William Ruto? Okay, what was the qualification? Let me ask this: what was the qualification for you to serve under William Ruto as a CS? Look at Work.Tuya'S. Look at the ICT guy, Kabogo. Look at Muga. Look at somebody like Wandai. Look at Joho. Look at these guys. You can't look at the CS of health. Look at the CS of education. These guys don't even understand anything, but they are there. So what is the qualification? What must you have for you to serve under William Ruto as a CS? Now, Edwin Sifuna is asking Sifuna this question of Raila Odinga, this issue of Raila Odinga, that Raila Odinga said that the KDF wanted to kill William Ruto and blah blah. This is the letter. Let me just refer to the letter and then we continue. This is what the letter was saying. The letter was written on 17th March, that is last week, and it was a press that was released by the KDF, that inaccurate newspaper articles by National Media Group. The Ministry of Defense notes with the concerned inaccurate paper articles in yesterday's Sunday Nation titled Raila I saved Ruto from military coup, and Taifa Jumapili titled Nilivyomzima mapinduzi dhidi ya Ruto. The articles, which cite undisclosed sources, allege that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, in an exclusive interview, claimed prevented a military coup against His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Force. The ministry categorically states that the claims in the newspaper articles are false, baseless, unfounded, misleading, and indeed reckless. The Kenya Defense Force, KDF, is a professional and a political institution committed to the highest standards of integrity, discipline, and service to the nation. KDF remain unwavering in his loyalty to the Commander-in-Chief and its duty to safeguard the security and well-being of Kenya and her people, free from political influence or sectarial interest. The publication of the article by the National Media Group based on unveiled and verified claims from undisclosed source is not only irresponsible and unpatriotic, but also a clear example of a sensational reporting aims at increasing readership rather than upholding journalistic integrity. The ministry urges the National Media Group to uphold the principles of ethical journalism by ensuring accuracy, fairness and responsibility in reporting, especially on matters of national security. Basically, I think what the letter was referring to was when Raila was saying that I saved William Samoei Ruto from the military. Was, remember during the time that during the JZ's demonstration, when Raila came out and joined hands with William Ruto. Before that, the KDF were on the streets, and remember, this KDF had started making good relationship with Kenyans. So Sifuna is being asked that when the KDF were deployed, or when they were deployed on the streets, what was the main aim, and what is wrong? What is different? What wrong did the media group do by reporting exactly what happened? Listen to what Sifuna asked, and then I want you to listen to what Work.Tuya'S answered.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Madam CS, I saw a very curious statement from your ministry on the 17th of March 2025 regarding the circumstances surrounding the deployment of KDF in July of 2024. As you know, I am a firm believer in the freedom of the media. And we must accept that we were all very concerned to see the army in the streets after the protests. And my party leader has addressed certain possibilities given histories in other places, including Sudan and Egypt. What, in your view, or in the view of the ministry, was inaccurate in the report by the Daily Nation regarding the very possibility of this country being handed over to the military in the event the regime collapsed in July of 2024. So you need to tell us, because the statement said that the report by the Daily Nation was false, baseless, misleading and reckless. Please explain to me what was the basis of that conclusion by your ministry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So Work.Tuya'S is telling us that deployment of Kenya Defence Force on the streets has not been revoked. So in other words, she's trying to say that the KDF are still on the streets because they were deployed. If they were deployed, it's supposed to be revoked so that no KDF is supposed to be on the street. But in this case, she's saying that it has not been revoked, so they can go back on the street at any time.
The CS, our colleague, Senator Work.Tuya'S. When in July 2024, the KDF was unleashed on our streets, first of all, what battalion is it that was released to the streets? What was the mandate of their mission? Because the mandate must be very, very clear. As a speaker, the Gazette notice that released the KDF to the streets, has it been revoked, or are they in the streets in perpetuity? The Speaker, I thank you.
To the details of the battalions and mandate, that is operational, and I will not comment on that. On the question on whether the deployment has been revoked, no, the deployment has not been revoked. There is a matter actively in court, but I would also want us to again remember that the deployment of June 25th is in support of the National Police Service, just like the other secondary operations that are within the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We know very well that KDF are basically trained for three things: fight, kill, die. That is the mentality that they're normally being given. That you fight, you kill, and you die. If you fight, and you realize that you can't fight anymore, kill. And remember, if you cannot kill, you'll be killed. You'll die. So the question of Wambua was this.
Speaker, you cannot fail to notice that Senator Medu today is very, very well dressed. The hair looks good. Mr. Speaker, there's one thing, Mr. Speaker, that I have not told you. It's a lot of things I have not told you. I have not told this House. That at some point in my life, I lived in the barracks. My father is a former army officer, that time Army, Kenya Army. And so matters security and matters defense are very close to my heart. Mr. Speaker, the world over, armies are trained basically to do three things. Basically. Whether it's explicit or not, but basically do three things. One is to fight. Two is to kill. And three is to die for the motherland. That is the basic training of any army anywhere in the world, including Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I would want to know from the CS, our colleague, Senator Work.Tuya'S. When in July 2024, the KDF was unleashed on our streets, first of all, what battalion is it that was released to the streets? What was the mandate of their mission? Because the mandate must be very, very clear. As a Speaker, the Gazette notice that released the KDF to the streets, has it been revoked, or are they in the streets in perpetuity? The Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My supplementary question is on question number 3, set by the Senator of Kisumu, Senator Ojienda. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to know from the CS, at a point where the national security has failed, whether because of capacity or other misgivings, and then KDF has come in, like what we saw last year during the Gen Z protests. KDF has taken over to make sure that they can ensure there is peace and there is stability. Do they also take over the mess that has been created by inadequacy of the national security organ? Like the messes that we saw where, for instance, young people were killed and property were destroyed. Does that assumption only limit KDF to the issue of dealing with restoring peace, or does it extend to dealing with the mess that has been created at that time by the national security organ? And if that is so, then what does the ministry think of dealing with the mess that was created at that time, including what this House passed on the resolution of compensating young people who were affected and were killed during that protest? And this House has pronounced itself through a resolution on dealing with those messes. Is the ministry taking over that because the national security organs failed, as demonstrated? Thank you, Chair.
Of what national security is, and being that the Kenya Defence Forces are part of the 3 national security organs, therein lies the role of KDF in matters of national security. And whereas the primary responsibility for internal security does lie with other specialized agencies, and these are the National Police Service and the National Intelligence Service, where internal threats to the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Kenya arise, the Constitution then makes provision for instances when KDF may be deployed internally. And it therefore follows that for KDF to be effective or to effectively discharge this mandate of involvement in internal security matters, it must retain situational awareness and on internal security issues at all times. And due to the fact that KDF will mainly work in support of other agencies with regard to internal security matters, the force then has to closely collaborate and regularly exchange information with the relevant agencies. Mr. Speaker, again, in response to this question on whether the KDF does monitor internal security matters, when you look at the design of the National Security Council as established by the Constitution, KDF is a member through myself as the Minister for Defense and the Chief of the Defense Forces. And you will know, Mr. Speaker, and the House does know, that the National Security Council does involve all the security agencies and organs of this country, and that therefore mandates KDF to work very closely in coordination and cooperation.
Were they supposed to go and kill? Because I've told you that KDF normally does three things. They fight, they kill, and they die. In this case, they're not going to die. They are not going to fight. They are going to, who are they going to fight? So basically they were going to kill. You know, some of the things that are happening in this country, you just sit down and ask yourself that, what is the problem? I'm really failing to understand. The reason, so that's why I've asked that what is the qualification of one to be under William Ruto as CS? Because as things goes, I don't think if things will be okay. Let me know to think at the comment section. But on my side, I think the best thing to do is let us just assume that these people are not in the government. Of course, it's difficult to assume, but let us just assume, and they work and then they go home, because we know that they cannot be changed. Based on what is happening right now, Raila joining the government, they cannot be changed. Let me know the thing at the comment section. Until we meet again, I've been your host, Boniface Sifuna. Bye bye.